Okay, hello. We are here for the third Memanto bounty. I'm here with Rasa and Kirtana, and we will be sharing with you the result of all the submissions we had. I just want to start by reminding you what this bounty was about. It was a combination of skills, or cloud skills, with memory, Memanto memory. And specifically, we mentioned the YouTube channel Matt Pocock, which had interesting system for designing skills for agentic workflow. Because we liked it, we just thought that what it is really missing, the whole system is missing, is a good memory to complement the whole agentic workflow. And that was the theme of this bounty. And it was running until June 12th, a few days ago. So we closed it. And now today is June 15, 2026. And we will be discussing all the submissions. We have received a ton of PRs and we finally scored based on our criteria. And today we will be giving away the bounty prize of $100 to the winner, but we accept top five submissions, and they would also receive free credits on platform that they can use for knowledge management and LLM tokens. Okay, and without further ado, I pass it to Rasa and then Kirtana to talk about the submissions and the judgment.
Yeah. So just talking about the submissions, in total, we got about 70 PRs. Of those 70 PRs, we got about like 10 Twitter posts, 5 Reddit posts. So lots of attention, and we're really appreciative for all the PRs that people sent us. So we both kind of have our own criterias. So what I was looking for in general, as one of the reviewers of the PRs, I was looking for a pull request that had as little user friction as possible.
Mhm.
So if you made like a wrapper around certain skill commands, that's not what I'm looking for because it involves the user to call something completely new. But instead, I'm looking for something more akin to a hook. So something that the user may need to install once and then it integrates with their workflow very cleanly. So under that criteria, want to show a bit of my scoring system.
So, Rasa, for those who might not know, can you tell us, explain a bit more, what would be considered a friction point for a skill, and what do you mean by hook, like something that is more native hook? What does that mean?
Yeah, so like a friction point basically to me means that how hard is it for the user to utilize Memanto with these developer skills? So like in the bounty, we have these skills. There's like slash TDD in Claude, it'll run the skill, and then if something there's an integration which has a high friction point, they might have a wrapper, and then the wrapper would make you call something like slash TD with Memanto. And
Mhm.
so this is what I consider a friction point because now the user can't use this anymore. And instead they have to use this new wrapper function that they've defined.
Mhm.
And by hook, the idea of a hook is that this should all be done sort of in the background. So if a person were to call TDD, ideally, we want Memanto to run in the background. As the skill is being called, it triggers a something else, which will call Memanto. It will ingest the memories, and then
Mhm.
it'll also recall memories
Mhm.
for that skill to be activated.
Very good.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So the idea is the more it works without interference,
yeah,
basically, it the smoother it works without interference. That's the ideal skill set.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. And so we have our little criteria. We have sort of tried to look as many PRs as possible and tried to, according to our success matrix, give them a score. And I guess starting off, we would like to announce the winner. So the winner here we have is EJ Speed slash CMD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations, EJ Speed.
Yeah. So their actual workflow. So what they've done actually, I was actually talking with them, giving them feedback, and they gave us some suggestions. But generally, what his approach is to inject a prompt into the Claude MD file. So you run a global function. So like there's a Pi project, and then you pip install, and then it'll inject a prompt into the Claude MD file. And that Claude MD file, whenever a skill is read, it'll read this prompt, and that prompt will tell it to run the certain Memanto skills, and then it'll be done in the background, and then it's done without much user interference and much user friction. And then I tested it, everything works. I didn't find any bugs. And he also has like a couple diagrams, some Twitter posts. He's helping a lot on the social traction, some demos, some tests. Overall, it's a very complete integration. And that's why I felt that this should have gone in the first place. So congrats to them.
Yeah, that's very good. But we had a very close competition this time, right? We had a
Yeah.
all-time champion Suraj coming very closely on the next on the second place. So tell me about Suraj submission.
Yeah. So Suraj had a different approach. So instead of a more soft integration like injecting a prompt, they had a more hard integration where they would go into the Claude settings and then have hooks. So these hooks would run automatically whenever a skill is ran, and then it would do ingestion and it would do recall. And he also has architecture diagrams and demo videos as well as social media. And one of the reasons I gave the win over to Speed here, there is like just a minor bug I had with Suraj. It may have been caught earlier if he submitted earlier, but what the implementation he has right now is that the Memanto hooks do recall and ingest on every prompt. So every time the user makes a submission, it'll do ingest recall. But instead, what we want is it for it to activate on every skill invocation. So it's just a minor bug, but that is partly the reason why we gave it
And
over
also,
to
Suraj submission seems to be massive. It's like 3,000 lines of code.
Yeah.
Right? So it's hopefully we use Rabbit code for to take some of PRs. Like otherwise, we would never be able to look at all the 90 submissions. But the good thing about Suraj is that he really puts the effort of deep thinking and going deep into the problem. So there's a lot of learning and a lot of value in his submission. And he will be number 2 in this case, but he will still get we will still be merging this into the solutions, right? As an alternative way of using the skills for memory. Okay, so let's talk about the others.
So I'm gonna be explaining two of my favorites. The number 3 and number 4 we gave were PR 638 and then PR 566. So with PR 638, I really liked that it actually used Claude Code's own built-in hook system. So instead of asking you to switch to a new skill or to run a Python script manually, it actually just wires directly into Claude Code itself. So for instance, you type /tdd like you always have, and then Claude Code intercepts it, and then it pulls your past memories from Memanto, and then it injects them even before Claude starts reading your message. And then when Claude finishes, it automatically saves any new decisions back to Memanto. So the user doesn't change anything about how they work. It's completely invisible, and that's the whole point. And that's why I really liked PR 638.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This is the least, I would say, the least amount of friction, as Rasa was saying.
Yeah.
But might not deliver the highest control anyway, like highest level of like accuracy in some sense, right?
Yeah.
So what is the downside of doing it this way?
Yeah. As for
Um,
downsides, I mean,
Or this is just an alternative way, right? This is not bad. Like it's not there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different way, different approach, right? So we want
Mhm.
to also give this to the whole community, like as an alternative. So this also will be merged, right?
I
yeah.
think one downside that I kind of thought of is that for the memory saving to work, I think Claude has to write special labels in its outputs, such as decision colon or user preference or code based fact. So if Claude doesn't write those like exact labels, then the hook misses it completely. So if you want Claude to format its output in a specific way, you have to either remind Claude to do that or the skill files have to tell Claude to do that. So I don't think it's a huge barrier, but it's definitely an
Mhm.
extra step, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a huge downside, but I do think
Mm.
it's a minor downside.
What I thought would be the downside is the increased consumption of tokens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now with this the prices that the tokens are, and then if you want to really use a high end model like cloud model, you really want to minimize your token consumption or optimize the token consumption. So I thought one of the downsides of it is just you're delegating a lot to the agent, and it would consume a lot of tokens on
Mhm.
every round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other methods was less token heavy. Okay,
Mhm.
that's very good. Okay, so what is that? So this would be number three
For
on
three.
our
And then
scoreboard. Yeah,
number
number.
4 was PR 566. And this one is unique because it actually used Morche's own AI to extract memories instead of like
Mhm.
regex or special labels. It just read whatever Claude wrote and then it figured out what was worth saving. And I thought this was a really clever approach. So I tested it with a real API key and it worked perfectly from end to end. It stored 3 memories from plain natural language and was able to recall them instantly in a fresh session. And I really liked the shell alias option. That was also a great touch. And so I thought this was also a really strong approach.
Great.
I guess if you had to think of a downside, it could be that it doesn't hook into Claude Code natively. You have to either run a wrapper command or set up a shell alias. So it's the same as what I said with PR 638, where it's not a huge barrier, but it's just a small additional step. And then also since it uses Morche's AI for extraction, every session triggers an API call, which could add a little bit of latency.
Okay.
But overall, I really like this one as well.
Yeah, I like it too. And it seemed to have like 890 lines of code change. So as we
Yeah.
go down, it seems that there's less and less, like lighter and lighter uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
submissions. Okay, cool. And
So,
what would be the last one you picked?
yeah. So the last one is PR704. So they used a similar approach to what Suraj did, in which they hook directly into Cloud Code's native hooking system. So they have the memory tools, they have the installation. So generally, I found their solution to be just a bit less high quality than Suraj's.
Mhm.
They have what they have is they install Claude locally. So Claude will, or like it scopes to the project. So if you do the installation, it'll scope to a single project. And then if you want to have Memanto integrated, you'll need to do the installation again for another project.
Mhm.
So it's better if it's more global. And the other thing is they also had the same issue as Suraj, in which it does ingestion and recall for every time the user submits a prompt instead of every time a skill is invocated. So it's just a couple bugs, but
Okay,
overall it's a very good integration, and
very nice.
that's yeah, we gave it the 5th place spot.
Yeah. So congratulations to Min Thai 1995. So let's have a final look at the scoreboard. And congratulations to all the people who submitted. And we really appreciate all the submissions, and we are learning a lot. And hopefully,
Mhm.
these would be helpful for all other people who are using this like open source project, Memanto. And so the number one would be this PR submission 692, and he will be receiving the bounty cash prize, but 725, 638, 566, and 704, all of them would also receive the credit from Murcha platform. And so they just need to email us, and we will put them in touch with the person who's in charge of giving the credits on Murcha platform. But thank you all. I'll just go ahead and accept the prize right here live in this video. So let me share my screen. Yeah, here is our winner. Like, and here now I accept his claim, EJ Speed CMD. So because he has solved that, so the other claims would not be accepted. He will receive the cash, and we also keep in touch with the other people who had submissions. So thank you very much, and we will have announcement for the for the bounty number 4 soon. We want to give an update. This the next one is very interesting. It's like a showdown between memories, and so far we have getting so many interesting submissions. So if you're interested, I invite you to go to Murche AI Memanto on GitHub. Link is in the description, and get involved and make your own submissions for the new bounty and the upcoming bounties platform. All right. Anything else, guys, you want to add, Rasa and Kirtana, before we close?
I think I'm okay.
We're
I think
good.
I'm okay as well.
Okay. And thank you to both of you for reviewing this many PRs and going through them, communicating with everyone, and looking at the details and going in depth. It really adds to the quality of the work that we accept into the Memanto project. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.